Good morning. How is everyone?
Good.
If everyone's around, we'll go ahead and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. John, if you'd lead us again, thank you. Thank you, John. Let's go ahead with roll call, please.
Parker.
Present.
Kling.
Here.
Schroeder. Southall. Here. Marchant.
Present.
Mayor Shaw.
Yes, thanks, Jackie. Sorry, John, I couldn't see on my video if you were there or not, so thanks for leading it. We'll go ahead and move on to public comment. If there's any public comment this evening, or this morning, rather.
There's no one here.
Very good. Hearing none and seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda, which consists of approving the agenda, claims on the computer printout for June 24th, 2020, and then a resolution of year-end transfers.
Motion to approve the consent agenda. Second.
First and second, any discussion? Ryan, I have a quick question, or maybe Andy, a question on the consent agenda. The transfers, the journal voucher transfers,
Yep.
Particularly at the TIF regarding the wellness center. The wellness center is the same as the YMCA, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that's what I thought on that. So that's just TIF transfer. A few lines up from there, Andy. There's $100,000 transfer in and out in terms of the annual maintenance transfer.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me, is that $100,000, is that in addition to the 120 or 160 some whatever was transferred for maintenance? I see some of those maintenance costs are coming through now from the Y, and I assume that's money that council had transferred previously.
Well, first of all, the TIF amount that was transferred from the TIF fund to the wellness center is because we're paying out the wellness center funds. And yes, the YMCA currently occupies the wellness center. The transfer from the general fund to the wellness maintenance fund, or what is also labeled as the YMCA since they currently occupy it, is the amount that the Y pays the city close to $250,000 for rent, and we transfer. We have been transferring about $100,000 of that to the maintenance fund, so that for continued maintenance of the wellness center.
Right. No, I get the TIF transfer, so I understand that.
Mhm.
My question was, is that $100,000, and is that in addition to the $100 and some odd thousand dollars the council earlier approved for the replacement of pumps and those types of things? If you recall, of course, we have a maintenance amount that
No, it's not. The $100,000 is what's budgeted transfer from the general fund into the maintenance fund. So that's the amount that's kept in those funds. And then the council also did approve that $125,000 to come from the maintenance fund to pay for those repairs.
The 100,000 still in the city.
Yeah, the $100,000 that was transferred from the general fund into the maintenance fund is separate from that other.
Right, but it was my understanding that maintenance fund, and maybe I'm wrong, but it was my understanding that maintenance fund, part of the rent went to that, and then we would transfer it to the Y. And so what you're saying is that additional money was not part of this maintenance fund that was transferred?
The money that is being transferred here from the general fund into the maintenance fund is this money that the city puts aside to maintain the city's facility, the city's wellness center.
Okay, and so then the payment that was made to the Y, or that's in the process of being made to the Y, that $100 and some odd thousand, that was from a previous transfer. So in other words, they're just drawing.
It's $43,000.
Hi, I'm sorry I'm late. I was just finishing up with the chamber parking meeting, but really quick, I think where the confusion's coming in is the Y pays the rent comes into the general fund, and then we have to transfer it into the YMCA maintenance fund. So all the money that's coming in is coming from the Y, it gets deposited into the general fund, and then gets transferred to the maintenance fund. Is that-
Okay. So just Ryan, so I can wrap my head around this then. So the amount of money that was approved by the council for maintenance, right? And I can't remember what that amount was. It seemed like it was,
126,000.
okay, all right. So then my question is did that money come from a previous transfer? In other words, we take money, as you mentioned, from the Y for rent, and then we put part of that towards the payment, of course, and then we put part of that towards the maintenance, right? So is all this payment doing is replenishing that account that we had taken money out of for the Y?
Everything that's going into the Y is going back. So the Y pays the rent.
Yep.
Goes into the general fund, and then it gets transferred into the YMCA maintenance fund.
Right.
The $126,000 that was authorized for the maintenance of the building comes out of that YMCA maintenance fund.
Right. Okay. That was my question. So this $100,000 is just the annual transfer to that maintenance fund, because as I recall, that maintenance fund had several $100,000 in it before
Correct.
council decided to withdraw.
Correct. So this is, yeah, so it's everything coming in from the Y goes into that fund, and that fund is only used for the maintenance of the YMCA facility. Because remember, the city is the landlord, we own that building, so we've got obligations to maintain it. So that's where that goes. The snow removal comes out of that fund because that's one of our responsibilities as part of the 2080. We've actually, as part of the negotiations with the YMCA's 2080, that's one of the things that will now, the thought is that they will take on that expense. But yeah, that's just making sure that the money that they're paying gets into the right fund.
Right. Okay. No, I thought with the annual maintenance transfer that's what that was. And I knew that it had a greater balance in it than what council had approved to spend earlier. So that was just my question. And it says annual maintenance transfer. So I was just making sure that is where it was going in terms of replenishing that account. Have we, while we're talking about 2080 agreement and whatnot, have we heard anything back from the Y about their payment to the city?
I believe they've been pretty regular on their payments. Yeah, so they've been regular on their payments. The 2080 has been vetted by the advisory board subcommittee. So that's Kevin Halterman, Seth Lampman, Mike Stoddicker, Mike Bethke, and then I think just recently the YMCA's full advisory board has recommended to council on the performance metrics that would accompany the 2080. So I think that's going to be coming to the council here soon for consideration.
Can you tell me, I haven't looked at the 2080 agreement. Is the 2080 agreement, is the WISE payment quarterly or is it monthly?
It says it's quarterly. They've been paying it monthly.
Okay. All right. So when council suspended the payment or moved the payment back in March, then that payment's been made?
I'll have to check to see if the April payment was made, but they have been making regular payments.
Cassandra's saying
I think
yes.
I was caught up. They're all.
Yeah. What's that? Yep, March has been paid.
Okay. So the other, if they're caught up, the other months have been paid then too.
Yes. Yeah, it was just, it wasn't a suspension. It wasn't a forgiveness. It was just a delay for that 1 month.
Right. So that's been paid.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
5 times, yeah.
Yes, sir. Sorry, Andy.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, hearing none. Jackie, roll call, please.
Councilmember Hewlin,
Recuse.
Parker,
Aye.
Kling,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
Very good, council. Thanks for your answers. We'll move on into other business then. The other business includes entering into closed session in accordance with Iowa Code 21.51I.
Hey,
Shaw.
Mayor, John Parker here. I got one thing real quick.
Sure, John.
Hey, real quick, one of the things that I was going through as we've gone through the code updates and all that stuff, and this timing is perfect. One of the things I noticed was something that we probably we've been kind of lax on and need to do a better job on, but IMU is to be giving us a annual report type of a thing. And I know that other departments and stuff have been doing that. I'd like to maybe see if we can get staff to contact them and see if we can get them on the agenda to come in and give us an annual report, just because I know they've got a lot of building and a lot of things going on, and it'd be nice to know just kind of how things are going, and that way the public can kind of see what's going on from our standpoint as well. So I guess I would like to see if other councils, what their thoughts are on that. And like I said, it is in the code that's supposed to be. So
Yeah, I think we should get them to come in.
I agree.
We'll talk to Chris, where I knew.
Thanks, Ryan.
Mayor Shaw, Greta Southall.
Yes, please go, Greta.
I also have something I'd like to bring up in other business. Last week, I had the opportunity to meet with Chief Button and a constituent who had requested, and Ryan Waller, who had requested that the police department issue a statement condemning racial injustice, police violence, et cetera. And we had a very good, productive meeting. And part of what came out of it is obviously Chief Button is not a lover of social media. So, not at all wanting to make a department head do something that he's uncomfortable, but it did come to me to think that perhaps this would be a really good time for us as a city, or maybe the department as a whole, to highlight the policies and the practices that they do have in place. I think our police department is well respected and well loved in our community, and I think they do an excellent job. But this is certainly a time that bringing to the forefront those policies that guide their day-to-day operations might be a really beneficial thing to do, and especially make it citizen friendly, if you will. So, no one wants to get online and dig into an employee handbook. That sounds awful. I mean, people don't want to do it when it governs them personally. But maybe we could come up with a way through, council work or staff work, just to kind of highlight those big policies that guide our police department practice and show, the good work that they have been doing all along. So anyway, I just thought I would bring that forward. Good idea.
Really quick, are you thinking presentation to council? Or are you thinking more of just maybe an article in the iMagazine, or?
Article in iMagazine would be good, or maybe a news blurb on our city website, something that's pretty concise and user-friendly, but definitely highlights it. These are the things that our officers have been doing all along, and here's how it looks. So,
Thank you.
John Parker, one of the things I guess I remember seeing, I'm pretty sure that the department put out, there was and I can't remember the thing that was going around, kind of how the police departments handle things. And I was thinking that we put out kind of showing how we're already doing a lot of those things in our policy. So I think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, I would third that. That's a good point, John. We got to realize that not everybody gets on social media. So I think the meeting which Councilwoman Southall had is an important step, and any information we can get out there. I would guess that given the Black Lives Movement in the metro, that they'll continue to work around the various suburban areas, which they of course should. And so it's a matter to be proactive as opposed to reactive in. So appreciate that.
Motion to go into closed session.
second.
Thank you. Discussion? Jackie?
Councilmember Hewlin.
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Kling,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
And just for the viewing audience at home, there's no action that's coming out of closed session. So once closed session's adjourned, it's the council consider a motion to adjourn the meeting. Mayor, this is a continuation of the last executive session. So as an FYI.
Okay, yeah, I'll probably not need to be in that then. Thank you. Red, I'll turn it over to you then if you'd run it. Thank you.
Sure thing.
Have a good day.
You too.